I call this meeting to order at 3:02 p.m. Let's start with roll call. Board of Governors Rep. Nick.
Hello, I'm here.
Board of Governors Rep. Cami.
I'm here.
Equity representative is absent. Students acting dissent representative.
Here.
Arts representative.
Here.
Education rep is absent with regrets. Graduate representative.
Here.
International student representative.
Present.
Science representative. Daniel. All right. Business representative.
Here.
First representative.
Here.
Welcome. And President Sarah Elliott.
Hello, happy to be here.
Vice President Academic.
Present.
Vice President Finance and Operations.
Patty.
Vice President Residence Affairs. Vice President Activities and Events. Yeah, okay. And Vice President External.
Mayor, I think that Brad is having some technical difficulties, so he should be hopping on pretty soon.
Okay. Deputy Chair.
Hello.
Sean Ryan.
Here.
Manager. Faculty Advisor. Okay. I don't think Dr.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said equity. My bad.
Oh, okay. JC. Okay. 1 second.
I think Dr. Cash has a class.
Okay.
2 to 5 on Sundays for the next few weeks, so she'll most likely be absent with regrets.
Oh, too bad. Okay. So I would like to respectfully acknowledge that St. FX is located on the traditional and unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. Hello, and thank you for coming, everyone. I want to welcome Brendan, our newly elected first-year rep. So we've got a pretty good agenda this morning, so let's just jump right in. Would someone like to move to the agenda? Anyone, really doesn't matter.
You know, I can approve the agenda. I will move to do so.
Second.
Wonderful, thanks, folks.
Can I move to amend the agenda? All right, let's go. All right, folks. Number 1, I move to amend the agenda to add a report from the Society Review Committee.
You can just say them all at once if you want.
Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is I move to amend the agenda to add a motion to postpone the deadline to ratify the student union societies to October 14th. Number 3 is I move to add a motion to ratify Mackenzie Levernois as interim student advocate for the fall semester. And the last one is I move to add or to ratify Marianne Sturgeon as interim student advocate for this fall semester.
Thank you, Lauren. Are these amendments friendly? I'm not seeing anyone saying no, so I will go with yes. The agenda is so amended.
Could I also make an amendment?
Yep.
I would also move to amend that the agenda strikes the presentation of the Golden Exon and Bloomfield project for this week.
Okay. Is that amendment friendly? Looks like everyone thinks so. So the agenda is so amended. Can someone, or is there any further discussion? Would someone like to move to call the question?
Oh, sorry, for the further discussion, Patty, if you want to talk a little bit about why we decided to move the agenda for next week and only do the terms of reference this week.
Yeah, am I friendly?
I give Patty time.
Okay. Yeah, why we're just so no one's confused, why we're striking the presentation today is because we just need to get the terms of reference passed, not the presentation. To be honest, presentation isn't even ready because there's nothing to present yet. There's nothing done yet. So we put that in thinking we would have stuff done, and then we realized we need a committee before. Yeah, so that's why we got a little bit ahead of ourselves, essentially.
Yeah, sorry, if I can just speak on that a little bit more. Thank you, Patty. So when you're going through the terms of reference, you're going to see that there's going to be a counselor and a student at large, as well as the people that have already met. So Mayor to the Sean, Patty, and I. But that's, you can't really make these beginning decisions before you have all the people on the committee. So, that's just kind of where we were coming from.
Okay, is there any further discussion on the approval of the agenda? Would someone like to move to call the question?
I'll move to call the question.
Thank you, Lauren. Is anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none, we can now move to vote or to approve the agenda as amended. Would anyone like to vote no? Seeing none, would anyone like to abstain? Seeing none, motion passes 12-0. Can someone do a quick head count of Aiden? Can you just confirm that there are 12 voting members in council right now, please?
Yeah, there's 12.
I thought, wait, am I? Yeah, 12, you're right, Okay, good.
Mayor, there's 2 Sarah Elliott's for some reason, so that might be.
It's because Jack, oh, you're right, there's only 11.
Yeah, that might be why you were counting weird because, that's Jack.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to rename this. Yeah, okay. All right, motion passes 11-0. All right, would someone like to move to approve the minutes of the September 13th council meeting? Thank you, Nick. Is there any discussion on this item? Would someone like to move to call the question?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Siobhan. Is anyone opposed? Okay. Seeing none, we can now move to vote on the motion to approve the minutes of the September 13th council meeting. Would anyone like to vote no? Would anyone like to abstain? Okay, motion passes 11-0. We can get going on constituency reports. Nick Murray.
Yeah, I would love to start off. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Before I start, I want to comment on how great of a month this has truly been. Seeing everyone back in person has really been a treat. I think we're doing absolutely phenomenally on campus, and welcoming back all the students really was great. This month itself was honestly pretty busy, busier than most. So I had 2 committee meetings for the Board of Governors, the 2 ones I sit on. So that's Building and Grounds and Advancement and External Relations. Not too much to comment specifically on those, but I can say they went very well. And I am confident in where we are going as an institution from here, which was great. This past month, I also was working with Cami Carrington and Sarah Elliott, the other 2 amazing reps, in terms of advocating for primarily international students who may be having trouble paying tuition in light of COVID times. We meant to meet with administration this past week. Things fell through, but we're confident we'll be able to meet with them soon enough and make great progress. So I can't wait to report all that in the future. Aside from that, governance review has been very, very fun. We've been working weekly. We've been making great progress, and I can't wait for you all to see the phenomenal work we finish up with. Aside from that, I was doing O-Crew, and O-Crew was a lot of fun. I think we really pulled it off great. Special shout out to Keelan, organizing it all, putting it all together. Truly an amazing job. Couldn't have done it better under these current times. It's been a fun month. I'm open to questions.
Anyone have any questions for Nick? All right, I don't see any, so Cami, you can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are all doing great. So Nick touched a lot on everything that I was going to mention, and everything else is found in my constituency report, but I can still talk about those a little bit. So I sit on the investment committee, and we met once since the last council meeting. I was really happy to see and learn about how many students actually participate in this committee. So there's through the business like program, there's a lot of students that participate in the investment committee. And as Nick mentioned, I'm really looking forward to meeting with the admin. We weren't able to do it before this meeting. We were hoping to, but we weren't able to. And I also sit on the organizational review committee, and I'm really looking forward to completing the strategic plan. And that's all I have to report.
Thanks, Cami. Does anyone have any questions? Doesn't look like it. So Jason, you can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay, just make sure. Alrighty. So we met with Mr. Upshaw, and we're working together with him to put together the anti-racism module, which is really, really exciting. Additionally, I reached out to the McKenna about having a podcast about uncomfortable conversations that can be available to all students to provide resources. It's going to be a super fun project, and I can't wait to update you guys on it. Done.
Thanks, JC. Does anyone have any questions? Nope. Okay. Henderson.
Okay, hi. Yeah, echoing what Nick said, I'm glad everyone's back. Glad we're not dead yet. So that's great. But something I've noticed throughout like the month is like Zoom meeting turnouts for like events. They're not reaching like the amount of people they usually reach. Like last year, we'd have like a bunch of people who like came to events and stuff like different societies, et cetera, et cetera. So I think in the future now we're gonna try and move, well, at least the things I'm a part of, gonna try and move to like having more in-person events, because I feel like a challenge this month has been like getting people on Zoom, and that's not really working. So we're gonna try something else. And also another challenge is not having a student advisor. I know they're looking for one currently, but yeah, that's becoming a challenge. But everything else is going well. Yeah.
Thanks, Henderson. Does anyone have any questions? No. Okay. Alex.
Yeah, so as my executive or as my report kind of made it look, I didn't get up to that much in the past month. Things were pretty quiet on my end. I made sure to reach out to my constituents to make sure everything was running smoothly at the beginning of term. Everything seemed to be going well. Outside of that, I have been just keeping up with my committee work with GovReview. I met with a Senate committee. I don't know what it's called, but so maybe Siobhan can help a bit with that. But there's but there's a Senate meeting coming up this week, so I'm excited to get ready for that. Yeah.
It was Committee on Studies for Faculty of Arts.
Okay. Any questions for Alex? Nope. Okay. Mike isn't here, so we can go to Lauren.
Yeah, so not too much to add that's not in my report. I guess my main focus this year is kind of improving all the little quality of life things for grad students. So I have written in my report that I'm putting together a list of all the scholarships that are available. I'm also hoping to streamline the stipend payment schedule as well, considering our September ones still haven't come out. And then just trying to figure out if graduate students also have to apply to graduate with all the undergrads. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Lauren. Any questions? Yeah, Sarah, go ahead.
Lauren, you could probably reach out to the senior class co-presidents, who are Ali Hancock and Shonda Vandershen, because they know all of the information about applying for graduation, all of that. So if you want their emails, I can send those to you.
Okay, yeah, I've emailed grad studies and I emailed the registrar's office, but I mean, if they don't get back to me by next week, I'll definitely take you up on that.
Any other questions for Lauren? Nope. Okay, Drew, you can go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, sorry guys for like not sending up my constituency report. on time because I was really into like setting up my October to make it really smooth. And I think I'm almost done with that. So first of all, it was really nice to seeing you all in person and having office hours. It was a great experience. I remember a lot of people enjoyed Timbits, and I'm hoping that I'll get them again in the upcoming my office hours. Besides that, I'm certain that a lot of international students applied for MSI, joining others, which has reached more than 30 students so far. So that's really great. Thanks everyone for their help. And Nick, can you please send me what leads you have so far for the international students fees thing? Because I would really be interested in knowing what's going on there. And for the upcoming weekend, so far what I've been working on is working on the scholarships for international students. And I'm also planning to invite intellectuals and really good representative readers in my office hours to discuss and collaborate things. And we are planning to event society events and events with society so far. And I was researching for students Nova Scotia and CASA for this week. So that was a really good experience knowing a lot of external things. And yeah, we are planning to, no, I've been working on this. I can say that I'll work for last 10 days for the advocating of students health plan. So that's been my constituency report. I'm open for questions.
Anybody have questions?
Yeah. Hey, Drew, just to let you know, we'll keep you in the loop on all the information that comes out as we get more information too from administration. So we'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, go.
Thank you. I just sent you a message, Drew, but absolute latest will be, this will definitely be talked about at the St. FX, like the executive board meeting with the, like the BOG people, because it's really hard to get a meeting with them, but they have to talk about it at executive meeting. So absolute latest after that meeting.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments for Drew? Okay, Daniel.
Everybody, hope you're well. The year seems off to a great start so far. The next week or two, my committees in Senate starting up. And yeah, I'm very excited and nothing else to report for now. Any questions?
No questions? Alrighty, Joanna.
Actually, sorry, Mayor, could I ask a question for Daniel?
Yeah.
I was just wondering if the Committee on Studies for the Science faculty has met yet.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Daniel? You can go ahead, Joanna.
Sweet. I'll keep mine short and sweet. I think I mentioned everything in my constituency report, but it's been pretty slow, like you guys have said, just the first month back, and many of my committees have met in the last little bit. So yeah, just getting back into the swing of things and hope everyone's having a good time as well.
Thank you.
That's everything.
Any questions?
Sorry, I would ask the same question to Joe. I was just wondering if the Committee on Studies for the Professional Programs has met yet.
They have not, no.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Okay. Exec reports. Sarah?
All right, well, hello everybody, good morning, and thank you for the amazing first month of school back. I could not have gone better. Everybody's doing so amazing, and I'm so proud of all of you. Most of my stuff was in my exec report. It's pretty long, so I think I got everything, but there's a few things that we just got to, that I just weren't in my exec report that I can speak on briefly. So the first thing is to congratulate Brendan. This is so exciting. I was the first year rep when I was in first year, so very big things. Very excited for you. So being able to help out on Vote Crew with that was such a blast and such a little treat. And so not only like huge shout out to Brendan, but huge shout out to Mayor and the rest of the elections team who got 40% voter turnout of all first years. That's insane. That is crazy. That is, hats off to all of you. Hats off to all the candidates. And thank you guys for doing amazing. So yes, first year up election went awesome. On Thursday, yes, on Thursday it was Treaty Day, so the university put on a small event in the atrium in Mulrooney Hall, and it was a fantastic event. Carrie Prosper and a few other folks from the community came and spoke, and we all had a great conversation. As well as Orange Shirt Day was the day before. Lots and lots and lots of X-ring stuff. Very crazy, but huge congratulations to everybody that's eligible to get their X-ring this year. That's going to be so much fun. But yes, lots of stuff going on, so I'm kind of tired, but that's okay. And the last thing is, I'm not sure if I talked about this, but I'm creating a video for CASA, and it's basically going to be all the people from across Canada that are affiliated with CASA. And instead of just doing the whole like, hi, we're student union executives and we're from CASA, because that doesn't mean anything to anyone. But I'm trying to do like an actual, brand recognition, so students will see the CASA brand and realize that they associate with what they value, CASA also values. So that has been a little project that I've also been working on the external affairs side. But other than that, lots of fun stuff, lots of stuff in my exec report as well. If anybody has any sort of questions for me, I'd be more than happy to take them.
Ted Henderson.
I have a few. Okay, so first of all, I know you mentioned they had a treaty meeting. Did they talk about like relations with First Nation students and the U? Like, was that a conversation that was held while at that?
So that wasn't. This was a university event. I just went in support of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There has been. Sorry, Henry. Just to like kind of build off that, there has been lots of conversations throughout the summer. So we have been, trying to work on a better relationship, but it's going to take time and
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. I see that there's an open house for like dates for next term, and they said it's going to be like open. So like, I wondered if it's going to be open to like all students, or will there be like a specific set like guest list for this like open?
No,
situation?
absolutely going to be open to all students. Siobhan and I met with Dr. Walmsley, I think early last week, and he was just kind of like, so what are we thinking about dates? What are you guys thinking? We were like, okay, step back. This is a bigger conversation than the three of us. So that's why we kind of suggested an open house. So it's going to be co-hosted with Siobhan and Dr. Walmsley, which, how fun is that? So that's going to be open 100% to everybody to kind of talk about, what they think is the best ideal or the best situation, and also, kind of the struggles of what happened last time and how we can, kind of mitigate those issues, because, we live and we learn, and we always want to get better for the next semester. So
cool.
You guys could definitely come.
Okay, fantastic. Next, I see there's also a stakeholders ad hoc committee that they're doing. Is there going to be like an available list so we know who's on that committee? And like, are you folks going to like talk to like us this time before like deciding anything, or are you folks just gonna do whatever like with the memorandum and the waiver and stuff like that?
So do you mean in regards to?
I mean, in regards to like I see you said you're having a stakeholder meeting for like what's gonna happen like on campus in the town. Hold on, let me see if I can find it so I get the exact wording.
Yeah, that committee. So we've been meeting with that committee since like the beginning of the summer, and it's not really a lot of decisions that are being made. That was the committee that created the Good Neighbors document that was sent out to you folks before it was approved. But other than that, I don't think that there's any big things being approved or not approved. It's mostly just a conversation on like kind of how to do better. But if you would like, I can that is a very important meeting and a very important committee, and I get why you folks would want to be in on the loop. So maybe after those committee meetings, I can just send you guys like a list of what we talked about. And then, we can have like, if you guys want, we can have like deeper conversations from that. But it's not really one that kind of like, like checks off all the boxes. It's just really a chance for all the stakeholders in Antigonish to kind of talk about like, okay, like there was a big party this weekend. How do we kind of mitigate that? Or, okay, like students are feeling very stressed in isolation. How are we going to help with that? That sort of thing. Less like big decisions.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'd appreciate like knowing like what goes on. Just
Yeah,
put that.
no, for sure. So that's like, it's me and Brad are the Students Union people in here. And then there's also, it's people from the Landlord Association, people from the RCMP, individuals from the university, and people like the mayor and a couple other people from town. So I can give you guys updates literally after every meeting if you guys want. I don't mind doing that at all.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then final question for you, and like maybe a little bit, this might fall like a little bit of Jack's area. Some CLCs were saying that they were like, some CLCs for like reses were saying that they were like booked over like the Christmas break and the winter break. I was wondering if that means reses are going to be open for the winter, because I know it wasn't last year, and I know it was supposed to be like a conversation that was happening last year. So I was wondering if reses are going to be open, like all reses are going to be open for like people who have to stay here over the break, or if we're going to try and put them all in international or wherever else like usual.
Yeah, so that is definitely a conversation that is being happening, because both Larissa and I kind of came in very hard that we were like, last year was not okay. It was, so Larissa works for internationalization, and we both started talking about that. So there's no definitive plans yet, especially because, you know, we don't even know like what the dates are yet. So we're trying to figure that out. But honestly, like, thank you for reminding me that, so I can put it on the top of my radar and make sure that that is, you know, actually following through, and it's not just a conversation that was, you know, talked about and then forgotten. So thank you for reminding me. I will definitely get back on that.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Any other questions for Sarah?
I have a question. Sarah, I'm not sure if you're the right person to ask, so if it's somebody else's business, please let me know. Is there any potential changes going to the winter semester start date, or is that completely set in stone, or are they going to do it? Are there talks about maybe changing it to allow for a self-isolation period?
So that's what the open house will be about. So everybody can put in their feedback on that, and then we can make a decision.
Do they have a decision deadline? Just because, you know, prices of flights, and if people want to go home, like, they get expensive.
Siobhan can probably
make dates for the next semester.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions? Brendan, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question for Sarah, and it's kind of following up on what Henderson said. You know, especially just a lot of the first years are pretty concerned about what's going to happen over Christmas break. Just because, you know, so many first years do live in res, and a lot aren't sure if they want to go home for Christmas, just because they don't want to self-isolate again. So, you know, I'd appreciate if you ever did get an update on that, if you could just let us know.
Yeah, I think it will probably be fairly soon after the after the open house, if I'm correct, Siobhan.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can probably transition into my report here, Mayor, if that's okay, because I think a lot of these questions are probably things that I can answer.
Yeah. Does anyone have any other Sarah-specific questions? All right, it doesn't look like it, so Siobhan, yes, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So yeah, hi everyone. I hope that you're all doing well and transitioning into this semester. In terms of what I've been up to, the majority I have outlined in my executive report. So if you do have any questions about that, then I encourage you to ask them. What I will touch on, there seems to be some questions around academic dates for the following term. So we had a conversation with Dr. Walmsley. Dr. Walmsley and I are going to be facilitating an open house to gain some student feedback. And then ultimately that is a Senate decision. So it's not on the agenda for the upcoming Senate meeting. However, I do suspect that an emergency Senate meeting will be called in the upcoming weeks. So we wouldn't have to wait too much longer. Ultimately, it depends on what the students want, as well as what the faculty are able to provide to students in the first couple of weeks back, assuming that we're working with the self-isolation again. So those are all things that we're going to be talking about. We started talking about it on a number of Senate committees, specifically Senate steering, I think is probably where it's the biggest. But I would imagine that it is going to come up in academic priority and planning, which is meeting in the upcoming weeks as well. Any questions? Actually, no, I guess I'll finish the rest. So then some other really cool things. Once again, a really big shout out to Keelan for doing a wonderful orientation week. It was really fantastic. And also just the executive team as a whole. We've really been working our butts off, even with like Patty and Sarah doing the drive view stuff. And I know that Jack is up to his ears in hiring and stuff. So it is quite wonderful to see our full team really committing. A couple things that I've been doing within my own portfolio is a lot of committees are starting to kick off. So whether that's Senate or not, preparing for Senate coming up this week, as well as doing some reading for specific points of advocacy that I would like to identify for the semester or for the academic term itself. So OER advocacy has obviously been something that I'm committed to so far. So really looking at rolling out a strat plan for on-campus OER advocacy, potentially developing a tripod with myself, someone from the university library, and then a faculty to really mobilize all of the stakeholders on campus is something that I'm looking at. And then as well working with Brad, because Students Nova Scotia is rolling out an OER week-long campaign. So that is something that will probably be coming to our campus very soon. And then some other points of advocacy, I would really like to advocate for first generation university students, as well as working with the student senators to kind of identify other areas that we can focus our academic advocacy this term. But essentially now that the craziness of orientation has ended and we've made it through waiver gate, I think is what we've been referring to it as, really taking some time to focus on where we want our academic advocacy to lie for the remainder of the academic term. Questions?
Okay, doesn't look like anyone has questions. So Patty, you can go ahead with your report.
It's me. My report was super quick this time because I'm doing a lot of work on not a lot of things. If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, really, it's really just making sure, like, getting the kinks out of the SFRC. So we have some problems with volunteers, of course, to start, because the service learning students are a large amount of our volunteer pool, and they didn't get like set out until this week. So a couple of like closing times for students were upset about the food bank being closed, but at the same time we have some of the most. I think we have some of the most open operating hours of any food bank in Nova Scotia. For example, like the one in town is only open 4 hours a week, where we are open, I think a total of 30 hours a week. Yeah, those kinks are worked out. Breakfast program and drive view both start tomorrow, which are going to be huge. Yeah, what else is kind of going on? There's one more thing. Oh, the website for the food bank. The first first draft soft launch is online right now. So that has a lot of work to go through. So I'll be working on that pretty much all this week and probably the next whole month, getting that ready to go to link it back to our other website. Other than that, small things like everyone else, committees are starting up. Yeah, that's really it. Any questions? That's what Mayor says.
You stole my line, Patty. Yeah, any questions? Alrighty, Keelan.
Yeah, oh, switch, okay. Hi, everyone. Patty now. No, so nice seeing you all again. I took a little break from the last meeting because it was quite literally a gong show at that point. But we survived September and late August, so I'm happy. Orientation went super well for what we were given, I think, so that's good. It's kind of just nice seeing everyone be back and kind of, I guess at the end of the day, it's just a matter of if they can like feel situated on campus, and it seems like for what the situation was, people are moving forward. As I've kind of touched on in my report, it's kind of a lot of like almost gap filling now. We had a meeting the other day with some faculty, or with some, pardon me, like student life members, kind of talking about the current sort of gaps right now on campus. Things they bring up is like students and residents maybe wanting more space and things. So we're kind of looking at well, not really looking at because it's not exactly my like area of work, but something that is being talked about is sort of finding out kind of other ways to use campus for people on campus, if that makes sense. Just within all the public health guidelines and whatnot. A lot of my time this past couple weeks has been sort of setting the groundwork for the end moving forward. Now that it's been open and we kind of understand how and how it will work, I guess, and like what people are willing to turn out to and things, we can start putting some programming in there and start getting a bunch of societies and other groups involved from campus. I've sent out super preliminary flares regarding X-ring stuff, since not that that's like right around the corner, but it's definitely going to be a bit more of a process this year since we don't really have any precedent to fall back on. So I will need the whole 60 some odd days for that. We've started planning Take Back the Night with some partners on campus and in town. And I guess another thing to look forward to is on Thanksgiving, we're also trying to give students some things to do in the county and on campus, since we're just trying to kind of encourage as many folks to maybe stick around and not be as mobile around the Maritimes. JC touched on the equity committee work. I'll add to that we're kind of looking at some way maybe to highlight and showcase like student work on equity issues. That is also very super preliminary, but yeah, I've reached out to some faculty members to kind of see what their thoughts would be, and they think it'd be a neat thing to explore. So that could be something we develop there. Yeah, outside of my report, nothing too much to add. We could probably talk about society stuff in the society review committee report later. The training was yesterday. It was well attended. Some folks couldn't make it, but Ailey's going to work on trying to get them up to speed. Yeah.
Any questions for Keelan?
Anderson.
Go ahead.
Hi, for the Take Back the Night, I see that y'all are planning to have it on the football field. Is it just like, is it all supposed to be happening on the football field, or is it like the ceremony is gonna be on the football field and then y'all still gonna do, I don't know, some kind of walk or something around town?
Yeah, that's again, it's still waiting to go through ERC. I don't think it's going through town necessarily. They decided to keep mostly on campus. The football field was chosen for like symbolic reasons, and then they're kind of walking like up, I don't even know what the street is called, kind of like by like Riley O'Regan Mac there, like up the hill towards Mulrooney, then back is what it's sounding like it's going to be. But yes, that's going to be mostly on campus this year. And the football field was chosen also too, just because it's a big enough space for kind of a little beginning gathering thing, because we kind of have to, all the little parts have to be rethought. So I don't know if the sign making that normally happens in the third floor sub, for example, that might not be able to happen like in there just because space reasons. So yeah, that's being sent to ERC tomorrow. So we'll see what gets finalized. It's also, it wouldn't be until the 2nd, so we have a couple weeks to kind of finalize all of that stuff.
Okay, and not a question, but more as like a suggestion. And like I know Vishal reached out to the CAs to like plan some things over the Thanksgiving weekend. So if, I don't know if you would want to like reach out to her to see if any of like the CAs that signed up to do things for that would like want to open their, I guess, events per se to other students, because I know most of them are happening in like Schwartz and stuff, so they're not in like actual reses. So yeah.
I will make a note of that. Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Any other questions for Patty or for Keelan?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Jack.
Woo, let's go. Happy Sunday, everybody. welcome back. I had a great first month, lots of fun, but also extremely busy. So just trying to, keep having fun. But basically, shout out to everybody, because like honestly, everyone's done a great job so far this month. X has had a really great start to this semester, and I'm very excited how that's gone. Shout out specifically to the SUCLs. They've done a great job throughout orientation week. They're continuing a great job of making sure everyone's feeling welcome in the buildings. Sorry, is there a question? Nope, never mind. And then shout out to the student advocates as well. They've also had a ton going on. They've been very overworked, but they're doing a great job as well. And then I guess, yeah, so part of what I've been doing this past month, a lot of hiring. Looking forward to a bunch of hiring in the next week. I'm going to be hiring a bunch more student union community leaders. I just hired a few more student advocates. And then definitely going to be having a lot of conversations about what residence is looking like right now. I've been getting a lot of emails from students kind of giving information about what they're seeing in the building and what they would like to see change. So I'm advocating for them in those situations and bringing those things forward with people who can maybe make those changes. Other than that, we've been looking at the psychosocializing module as well as the respectful communities modules. These are super cool, super exciting. They're gonna be on campus, and we're gonna really try really hard to promote them because they're only gonna be open for a few more weeks. There's some massive prizes that can be won, so make sure to tell your constituents about them. And then also looking at the Zavarian Welcome, which is really exciting in the next couple of weeks. So we're looking to finalize those dates and finalize how it's actually going to work. We're working closely with SUCL to make sure they're bringing the students to these places, and hopefully it'll go really well. Really exciting though. And yeah, other than that, the rest is kind of all in my report. If anybody has any questions, sorry, Mayor, then feel free to ask.
I have one job in this meeting, and Jack and Patty are just killing me. But does anyone have questions for Jack?
Yeah, this is just me having a brain fart moment right now. The Zavarian Welcome, that's the the cult ceremony in the church basement, right? Or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool,
yeah,
cool.
we weren't able to do that during orientation week, but we're currently in the process of planning to make sure it can happen for all the incoming students coming. Make sure they can still have that experience with a couple little twerks and quirks. It's really exciting, actually. So kind of jealous I'm not doing it this year, but yeah.
Cheers to that.
Any other questions? All right, it doesn't look like it. So last but not least, Brad. Oh, wait, is he in this meeting? Okay, no Brad. Dr. Cash isn't here, so Sean Ryan, your report.
Hello, everyone. I was just, there's so many crows here. I had to turn my mic off and stuff. It's they all left, thank goodness. Just a couple things of note. Health plan opt-out has now closed as of September 1st. There will be a delay if you're hearing from your constituents about hearing back about whether their opt-out went through or not. There will be a bit of a delay. Our health plan coordinator had to take a leave of absence suddenly. And we're waiting. There will be a person from Gallivan, our health plan broker. There will be someone here on Mondays and Tuesdays to help fill in the gaps until Barb is able to get back. So, hearts and prayers go out to Barb right now. She's dealing with some pretty tough stuff. We will hopefully be having the DCB handheld devices in the inn, which will again help to have people pay at the table and not have to get up and pay at the bar. So that's been like a year and a half project in the making. So big shout out to Cody and Julianne and Patty for helping to get us down the road there. Hopefully we'll get our stuff sorted out with Niche Eats soon, so delivery will start to happen. We finally finished most of our office move on 4th floor. We are looking at having a society space in one of the offices. So as we start to continue to put that together. We'll make sure that everyone is aware. Basically, it'd be one of the office spaces that would be bookable. So if society executives needed to have a meeting and they wanted a meeting room, it would be a free space for societies to use as a meeting space. So hopefully that will come to pass in the next couple of weeks. A lot of committee work. Pretty much all the committees are working now, so that's a lot of my day. And yeah, just a shout out to the in staff, Cody, X Patrol, everyone, Keelan, everyone that's involved with sort of getting the inn up and running. We've had some really good days in there, and looking forward to seeing more and more entertainment, obviously safely distanced and masked, as we move forward throughout the year. And that's it for me. I'll take any questions.
Go ahead, Henderson.
Okay, sorry, y'all probably went over this. I can't remember what I asked yesterday, but for the student societies, when they like do ERC forums and stuff, when's the y'all stand like on a date where y'all were gonna start like saying no for events that like come in like too late?
No, right now we haven't really, on the ERC, we haven't really talked about when we're going to start enforcing that 2 week plus a day rule. I think you're probably safe for the next few weeks. So if you are handing in form, I can't promise, but that they'll get approved. But like we said in the ERC training the other day, put it like overload us with detail, and then that saves from anyone having any questions. So just do as much as you can on your submission form, and we'll Keel and myself will make sure we try and get as many of those events approved.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions for Sean? Okay, we can now go ahead to committee reports. So organizational review, Lauren and/or Cami, we're going to report a little bit.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, so the org review committee met for the first time in person, which was exciting. Unfortunately, we had to still Zoom in Cami. But we kind of picked up where we left off. We had a list of, I guess we can call them problems, that were generated from the student satisfaction survey. And to kind of just speed up the process, we decided to divide and conquer. So hopefully by our next meeting, each of the members will have developed a decent number of solutions. And then hopefully when we have a list of action items, we can then contact key stakeholders that are appropriate and experts in the field of the problem, and they can help us inform our strategic plan.
Thanks, Lauren. Are there any questions about the society or the organizational review committee? Nope. Okay, then society review, Keelan and Drew.
Drew, do you want to go, or I can go, or?
Yeah, whatever you like. If you want to go ahead, or I don't mind even going.
Can I get permission to speak from somebody?
Yeah, I yield time to Keelan to speak for society review.
Heck yeah. So society review is, we met the other day, kind of super preliminary, just looking ahead at like what steps are still left in the process. It's a bit later than normal years, just for obvious reasons. And we just kind of like, everything takes longer to kind of throw together just because we have to reconsider everything. So society training happened yesterday. Ailey put that on. It was a few hours. There was sort of general review of like our bylaws pertaining to societies. And we ran through the ERC process with them just so that we can finally get things rolling with that. And then there was also I'll say a panel. There wasn't too much discussion that occurred, but we got to introduce some society folks to different faces around campus that they may need to work with. And then moving forward, Ailey has sent us a big old document with all of the society, like if they submit their like forms, their constitution, etc. So we're going to look through those. We're meeting tomorrow to I guess just burn through those, and then we should be pretty close to done the whole process of getting societies all official. Did I miss anything, Drew Romero, do you think? Sean too, I guess? I think that's kind of just where we're at right now.
No, I think it's you have. We did so far.
I should say too, societies are still like doing stuff as well on campus kind of thing. Like we haven't just not let them start things, like just because we do want things for students to like be able to do and all that. So a bunch have started sort of their like recurring meetings, some in-person stuff. But yeah, it'll be really nice kind of to have this whole formalized process done so stuff can really kind of take off.
Drew, do you want to maybe just touch on the email vote for ratifications that we talked about in pre-council?
For the society review committee, and like we know that it's been pretty late for everything because of COVID-19. We started everything late. So in pre-council, we decided that it would be really great if we can like vote for society's ratification online. That Meredith will send everything that this is like all societies and all so far we have done, and then we can ratify them all there, so that it would be easier and we can start rolling with societies as soon as possible. Is it good?
Perfect.
I'm open for questions if anyone has questions about it.
All right. No one has questions? Okay. So we can now get down to business. The first item on the agenda. Anyone like to make that motion? Thank you, Daniel.
I'll second.
Thank you, Lauren. So I'm just going to pull up the terms of reference, and Sean and Sarah are going to take us through them. Can everybody see it?
Okay, so just to frame this up a little bit, so like where is this coming from? Out of nowhere, maybe for some of you. This has been something though that we have been talking about for a number of years through strat plans, org review committees and whatnot, is really just starting to create an opportunity for us to be a bigger stakeholder in our building, with our, and with our services and things like that we provide. One of the things that we asked students about in a survey a couple years ago, as well as the satisfaction survey, was around would students support a fee to begin renovations on the inn and other projects within the Bloomfield Center that fall within our scope. We were given sort of a good boost that students would support something like that. So really this is the beginning of like looking at, what all that would look like in terms of, costs associated, long-term budgeting, what projects we would look at, all that kind of stuff. So we felt that there's a few of us that met, I think it was referenced earlier in this meeting, a few of us met last week just to talk about like what the process would be. And the process is first establishing an ad hoc committee to look at all of this stuff. So so we wrote this ad hoc committee bylaws just so that we could have something to ground us as we kind of work through the process. Yeah, so I think Sarah and I are just going to kind of trade off a little bit on sort of reading through these, reading through this document, and then we'll kind of look at some questions after that. I will say, a lot of what's written here is based off of other ad hoc committee terms of reference that we've used in the past, for example, governance review. So this is very similar to how we structured gov review. So Sarah, did you want to start reading through the first bit, and then I'll pick it up later?
Okay, I was gonna say I'll start with 2, but that's okay. So the project, it's going to be, as Sean was saying, this has been something that the Students' Union has been thinking about for a number of years, as well as, yeah, kind of all throughout the summer, we were like, oh, okay, maybe we can do this. So really trying to get on this, as well as the student satisfaction survey. It seems like a lot of students would be supportive of this project. So the first thing that we talked about is what the project will be focusing on. So this is not a definitive list. You know, there's going to be many other people on the committee that will probably that they'll bring other things, and then, you know, as we're working on it, we may have other things that we want to work on as well. So right now we have developing a plan to renovate the Golden X Inn and the patio, as well as running a student referendum and a capital campaign. So Sean, you can probably talk a little bit more about what a capital campaign would look like, or we could also talk about that at the presentation. Engaging the alumni service and the alumni council for financial support, engaging the university for financial support and project approval, and developing a plan to renovate the Bloomfield lower parking lot building entrance so that it's accessible for all students. So there's just a couple things that we're going through for this. So the first thing is that a student referendum would not, you know, cover the cost, especially because we don't want it to be too expensive for students, because, you know, times are hard right now, finances are hard. So talking a lot about alumni and the university, as well as different sponsorships that could help pay for this. So then, you know, it's not directly coming out of student fees, as well as looking at how to make the Bloomfield Center more accessible, because right now we have our elevator, but it's really not an accessible building. And this is the building of student services. This is where everything you need as a student, you go there. So, you know, really trying to focus on making it more accessible for every student. And then, okay, Sean, do you want to go to the second section?
Yeah, so thanks. Yeah, no, exactly that. This wouldn't be something that we would try and, you know, have only paid for by a student fee. Like Sarah said, we would be soliciting from alumni, we would be soliciting from former student union people that have gone off and made a little money, as well as corporate sponsors and whatnot. So looking at sort of the membership of what this committee would be, the student union president would be on it, the vice president of finance and operations would be on it, both voting. Myself and Julianne, the accounts manager, would both be on it as non-voting. We would solicit for one representative counselor who would have a vote. We would have one student at large who would have a vote. University representative from FM, St. FX University. So basically, anytime you take on a large scale project on campus, obviously FM has to be involved in that. So that's why they would have a seat on this committee, but it would be non-voting. And we would bring in the chair of council as we needed, non-voting, to just make sure, like, if we do decide to move forward with a referendum, that we would make sure we're doing it as the bylaws dictate. So that's kind of the makeup of the committee.
Okay, and so looking at the actual committee selection process, so looking at which counselor would sit on this, because, you know, we're not sure, you know, a lot of people may be interested, not a lot of people may be interested, but we just wanted a set direction of how we're going to choose which counselor is sitting on this committee. So the first thing is that there will be applications for it, similar to a student at large position, for on the website for any counselors that wish to sit on the committee as well. So for consideration for the counselor, for the applicants, will be asked to outline the following. So the first is the term of office and the beginning of the end date of their term, and the their availability from October 2020 until April 2021, as well as experience relating to project management and or finances, as well as priorities within the renovation of the Golden X Inn that need to be addressed.
Awesome. And yeah, the same sort of follows suit for the selection of the student at large. Basically, it would be open to all students who are current members, and they would apply through the website. They need to outline their year of study, their availability, experience relating to project management or finances. And also we'll have a question about sort of what they feel the priorities would be in renovating the Golden X Inn and any other renovations that should be addressed in Bloomfield. Applications for both of those positions on this committee would be open for a period of 5 business days, with an option to extend 3 additional business days if the application pool does not provide the required amount of candidates to proceed. The chair, council, and president will review the applications and select the council and student at large members for the committee based on the information provided in their application. I just added the information part into that sentence.
All right. The Golden X Inn and Bloomfield Project Committee Selection External Resources. So this is the committee will first deem what external resources may be required to assist with the outlining of project parameters. The committee may use current and known legal counsel or may go to tender for services for assistance in establishing project parameters. The committee will consult with any assigned external resource personnel and throughout the review as deemed appropriate by the committee. The general manager will provide financial updates to the committee so the committee can stay within the budget amount for the project. The committee may use different external resources at various points throughout the review as deemed appropriate by the committee, and the committee will, in the 2020-2021 academic year, host an open forum to hear from the union members about matters in the committee's mandate. So there's a little bit complicated. So Sean, do you want to maybe explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So basically, depending on how our meetings go and sort of, I guess, what direction we decide to pick in terms of a timeline, we may get into an opportunity where we would send out a request for proposals to architecture firms to come up with sort of like what their best design would be of a Golden X Inn, like a new Golden X Inn and whatnot, as well as when you're doing these large scale projects, we may want to talk to a financial manager who's or someone who's really good at sort of fundraising and things like that. So really, we're just sort of outlining that there will be point in time during this process where the knowledge base of what we know will be surpassed, and we will need to bring in some external resources, consultants, things like that over the course of the project. The next section here, so updates to council, notification to membership. So the councilor designated by the chair will report to council on the deliberation of the committee after each meeting of the committee. And then project completion. The committee will work with the established renovation projects, or will work until the established renovation projects are completed. If the project's completion date elapses the term of the members on this committee, a continuance will be granted for the committee, and the open seats on the committee will be filled as outlined in 3 and 4 of this document. So if for some reason, like we found with GovReview, we weren't able to get it done in a year, so it exceeded its first timeline mandate, so we did have to go back out and fill the seats on the committee that were left vacant with people leaving terms of office or the student at large changing and not wanting to sit on the committee again. So basically, if it goes longer than what we've outlined here, it's not like we're going to stop the project. We'll keep going, but we may need some new folks to sit on it. I think that's it.
Yep.
All right. Any questions?
All right. Doesn't look like anyone has any questions.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion surrounding the terms of reference for this committee? Would someone like to move to call the question?
I'll move to call the question.
Thank you, Lauren. Is anyone opposed? Seeing none, we can now move to vote on the motion to ratify the ad hoc Golden X Inn in Bloomfield project committee terms of reference. Would anyone like to vote no? Would anyone like to abstain? Okay, motion passes 12 to 0. We actually do have 12 voting members. I recounted. So, yeah. Next item of business. Would someone like to make that motion?
I move to postpone the deadline.
Thank you, Daniel and Drew. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, kind of chatted about it in pre-count. Would someone like to move to call the question?
I would like to move to call the question.
Thank you, Drew. Is anyone opposed? Seeing none, we can now move to vote on the motion to postpone the deadline to ratify Students' Union Societies to October 14th. Would anyone like to vote no? Would anyone like to abstain? Seeing none of either, motion passes 12 to 0. Next item of business.
Yeah, I can move. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Daniel, do you want to go?
Sorry.
Oh, on the air. I would like to move to ratify Mackenzie Livernois as interim student advocate for the fall semester.
I'll second.
Thank you, Daniel and Nick. Discussion?
I can start, and then Jack, if you want me to yield you time, I can more than welcome to do that. So I was on the committee for hiring the interim student advocate, and Mackenzie had a really good grasp about what the position would entail, as well as kind of the mental fortitude to do it, if that makes sense. So, I mean, she was a pretty easy, unanimous shoo-in for the position, and excited to get her started.
Thanks,
Jack,
Lauren.
did you want to add anything? We're good. Okay.
Awesome. Would someone like to move to call the question?
Also move.
Thank you, Siobhan. Is anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none, we can now vote on the motion to ratify Mackenzie Livernois as interim student advocate for the fall semester. Would anyone like to vote no? Would anyone like to abstain? Okay, the motion passes 12 to 0 to 0. Next item of business.
I move to ratify Mary Ann Sergeant as interim student advocate for the fall semester.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Dan and Lauren. Discussion?
Yeah, once again, same for Mackenzie. Marianne had a strong resume. She had a good grasp about what the position would entail. And she just seemed, she's also a unanimous vote for the position.
Else to add to that one? Would someone like to move to call the question?
I so move.
Thank you, Daniel. Is anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none, we can now move to vote on the motion to ratify Marianne Sergeant as interim student advocate for the fall semester. Would anyone like to vote no? Would anyone like to abstain? Okay, motion passes 12 to 0 to 0. So that is it for our agenda. Thank you everybody for coming. And I also do want to say thank you to all of you, because everyone chipped in a little bit with the first year rep election that we just had. I know it's not always easy to stand outside holding signs and harassing folks to vote, but I really appreciate it. And it made a very big difference. So thank you to everyone who did that. And welcome, Brendan. I hope your first council meeting was pretty good.
Thank you. I loved it.
Good, good. Drew, do you have something to say?
I was wondering, are mutual funds really good, Meredith? Are they really helpful?
Your what?
Are mutual funds really good? I mean, I'm asking about mutual funds.
Like the financial thing?
Yeah, I'm just speaking on you. You're not getting it.
Is this because I asked Patty about mutual funds the other day?
Yeah, I heard it. Like, I thought you might have done research about it. So.
No. Okay. Well, on that note, would anyone like to move to adjourn the meeting?
I will.
Thank you, Sarah. All right. Is there any discussion on the adjournment? Nope. Would someone like to call a question?
Oh, I'm going to call the question. Cheers.
Okay. I'm going to not be offended by that. Is anyone opposed? All right. We can now move to vote to adjourn the meeting. Would anyone like to vote no? Would anyone, Jack, would anyone like to abstain? Okay, motion to adjourn the meeting passes 12 to 0 to 0. You're all free to go.